Hey everybody, it's Chris Seeds, Wootini from GayGamer.net, here with another weekly video podcast. This episode I want to start by talking a little bit about some recent announcements that were made by Sony at their PlayStation Experience. They made a bunch of different announcements, and there's a bunch of like VR announcements, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. In fact, I'm actually tempted, just as a sidebar, VR intrigues me. You know, I tried the Oculus Rift at PAX a couple years ago. It was very impressive. I love 3D, so 3D and all around you is amazing. But I feel like the costs are going to be too expensive. And I'm really tempted. I want to put on my Christmas list the Viewmaster VR, because you can put your phone in there and you can download any of the like Google Cardboard VR apps and you can use them, and it's only like $30, which is about what you would pay for one of those like chintzy looking cardboard setups that you have to assemble yourself. Here you get a nice little like Viewmaster screen thing that you can like go like this and look around and stuff, and that's kind of awesome. So I'm actually kind of tempted to get one of those, but I don't want to buy it because Christmas is coming and I'm not really sure how to let my husband know that I want one. I don't think he watches these, so this isn't going to help, but whatever. But I'm not too interested in the VR announcements, or like, you know, Uncharted or Ratchet and Clank. I'm like, whatever. My Twitter exploded with everyone losing their shit over Final Fantasy VII footage. And I was just like, yeah, okay, like, it's very pretty, if a bit dark, you know. I mean, I prefer, like, the brightly colored fantasy worlds as opposed to the grim and gritty, dark, urban stuff that they do a lot in Final Fantasy. And I also don't know if I really want to play this remake because they've changed the battle system, and I prefer turn-based battles, as I've said in previous episodes. I am a classic RPG kind of guy, and I like the turn-based battles, and they're always tweaking battle systems, and I tend not to like them. That's why I kind of wish there was a demo for Xenoblade Chronicles X, because everyone's loving it, they think it's great, and I'm afraid if I spend my $60 on it, I'm going to start playing the battles, and I'm going to be like, I don't like this. Because that's what happens. I didn't like the first Xenoblade. I didn't get very far in it, because I just was like, meh. So everybody's losing their shit over Final Fantasy VII, and I'm just like, meh. It was the announcement of another Ni No Kuni game that has me super psyched. I am like, oh my god, because I know a lot of people complained about Ni No Kuni, and they did not like it. They didn't like the battle system, they didn't like the story, they didn't like just the game in general, whatever. I'm just like, dude, no. That game was fantastic. I love the battle system. The character designs are great. The graphics were beautiful. You were walking around like you were in a Miyazaki movie. It was fantastic. So I'm super psyched for another one. I will eagerly play that on my PS4 that I will have by then. So, you know, it's good to know that there's more than just a couple of PlayStation 4 games that I'll be playing with my new system when I eventually get it, probably somewhere in the new year. There were some bundles that I was tempted by, but I was like, nah, I'm okay. I'm waiting to get a PlayStation 4 bundle with a game that I really, really want, not just a game that would be something I would play. Because one of them, the main bundle was like, I was like, well, I could get the one with the Uncharted, and it's like all the Uncharted games and everything, and I would play those because they're totally up my alley. I've just never gotten around to them for some reason. The only one that I've played is the Vita one, which I enjoyed, because, you know, I love Tomb Raider, and it's just basically Tomb Raider with a hot guy instead of a British girl. That's all. So I should be playing them, and I don't know why I'm not. But speaking of Tomb Raider, you like that segue? I finished it. I did not completely finish it. I think it said I was at like 93 or 94%. but maybe 95, but no higher than 95, because there's still a bunch of stuff I haven't finished doing yet. Mostly the challenges, because those get time consuming because you're trying to find every little bullseye or find every little banner to set fire to and whatever. And I'll get like all but one, because there's that one that's like hidden away somewhere really tricky, and you know, I'll end up having to look it up online, like where that is, and then go find it and do it. But there might be like still a couple of documents and relics around, and some coins and survival caches and stuff, you know, whatever. But I decided, I was going back last week, as I mentioned, I was going back to go back to the other areas to collect a bunch of stuff. But I came to realize that what I was finding was not, like, it was just the extra stuff. Like, I had already gone to all the tombs and the caves and everything, the extra stuff to do those, and that gets you, like, bonus skills and pieces of weapons that you can upgrade and stuff, you know, that stuff. So I was like, I've got all the skills I'm going to get. I've upgraded my weapons as much as I'm going to upgrade them. I have all the weapons, all the skills. Let's just go finish the story, and then we can go back and look for all the extra stuff later on. Because all I was doing was putting off the end of the game. So I played the rest of it, and I was very delighted. One complaint, though, is that I feel like the main game, just like the earlier Tomb Raider that Square Enix did, it has a really nice balance of, it's like 80% exploration and 20% combat, until you get to the ending of the game, at which point it's all combat. And the problem for me with that is that you've been able to, like, use a lot of stealth throughout the game, and there's only been a couple of places where they're just swarming at you and you've got to take them out and stuff. So because you're not doing a lot of combat, I don't feel like you're as good at the combat when, at the end of the game, it asks you to do all this combat. So I died, like, 4 or 5 times trying to get past this one section, and then finally I did, and then I was like, okay. And then the actual ending was much easier, because you could use stealth, and it was like, oh, thank God. But I enjoyed it. It was a good story. I had a lot of fun with it. If you like Tomb Raider, it's amazing. And I like that at the end, it totally leaves it open with a little post-credits epilogue to say, you know, but wait, there's more. So I really hope that this does well and they can make another one. I know that sales probably aren't what they should be, because right now it's a timed Microsoft exclusive on the Xbox One and the Xbox 360. But I hope that next year, when they release the Game of the Year edition, or whatever they're going to call it, the Hunter's edition or Collector's edition, whatever, because you know they're going to do it with all of the Season Pass stuff all in one bundle for $60 on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3. And then maybe that'll boost the sales, and you can combine the two sales, and they'll say, okay, it was all good, let's make a third one. Because these games are amazing, and I love them, and I want more. Also, as a note, I discovered that upon completing the game, you get that little epilogue, and then you go back to the main menu, and I hit continue just to see, like, where it would leave me, because usually when you do this, like, after you finish the game and you go to continue it, it leaves you at, like, whatever the last save point was before the point of no return, where you get to that base camp, and it's like, okay, after you move on from here, you can't fast travel, you can't do anything, you are here, this is it. You're doing it. I figured it would leave me there. It did not. Spoiler alert, it leaves you at it leaves you in the Geothermal Valley hub area, which is, like, the biggest hub area with the most to do. And there's actually a little bit of dialogue with one of the characters who, you know, says, you know, we've thwarted the enemy, but they're still out there, and there's still a lot of work to do. And Lara says, you know, and there's a lot of exploring left to do. And then you get control of your character again, and you can send Lara off to explore wherever you missed. Which I thought was great, because usually they don't put that part, this ending part where you go back and redo stuff, they don't usually make that part of the overall story. It's quite lovely. So I like that. And I also discovered that after you've completed the main game, while you're playing the main game, that first tomb in Syria you can't go back to it. But once you've completed the main game, it turns out there are in fact 3 base camps scattered throughout that tomb that you can return to so that you can go back and redo that first level that you couldn't return to. So I will be able to 100% this game as I did the last one, and I'm super excited about that. The trick is how much time am I going to spend trying to 100% it and not go play something else, because I feel like I should, move on and play another game. I don't know what yet, but come back next week, and I will reveal what it is that I started playing. And I'll see you then. Have a good one. Bye!